Hey, hey, hey! What is going on, my fellow gamers? Welcome back to the channel. Just so you know, I'm not gonna do any gameplay this time. Normally, I will put up some kind of uh, Horizon 5 gameplay on the channel, but that's not the case this time. The case this time actually is along the lines of update, which usually I would do a video, and I would normally show my face and stuff like that, but I decided to change up just a tiny bit and literally go over what we're going to get for update 28 and 29. 28 starts this coming Thursday, December 7th, and then update 29 will actually begin Thursday, January 4th, 2024. So if you are new to the channel and you want to see more Forza Horizon 5 videos, shorts, whatever I decide to put up on the channel, make sure you do the following. Please consider subscribing. Hit the little subscribe button right there. You'll see it light up if you haven't done so already. Make sure you give this video a massive like. That'd be very much appreciated. And write in the comments or the live chat, whatever, I don't care which vehicle, after I list them all, you guys are most looking forward to in either update 28 or 29. And with that being said, let me go ahead and flip to the correct image, which is going to be this guy. Yes, we're actually getting something somewhere. Now I have in the description the image credit for the thumbnail and the stream image, both of which have links in the description. If you click either or you copy and paste them into your browser's address bar, you will see that I did in fact give credit for both images for the thumbnail and what you're looking at right now. So with that being said, let's go over what we're going to roughly get come December 7th, which is exactly 2 days from today. Of course, if you're in a massively forward in time zone, for those that are like, what, 7 hours, whatever, at this point, you're going to have to wait 1 day, whereas, or about 1 day, a little more than that, actually. Whereas everybody else is like a, what, 40, I'd say like 20 to 30, like 20 to 40 some hours, depending on what specifics of the time zones that you guys are located, that follow my channel and are subscribed or not subscribed or whatever the case may be. Perfectly fine. We're good to go. All right. Beautiful. So, this is one of the cars we're going to get in the next update. But I'll come back to this guy in just a brief bit. What I would like to do is go over the specifics for what we're going to get come update 28 and 29. I'll go over each of these in somewhat of detail as much as I can, and we're going to get hopefully a good, decent reaction out of any of these if I can. If not, I perfectly understand. No worries. But starting off, we're going to go ahead and get started with the summer season. For 20 points, we can get what's known as the 2009 Lotus 211. It's based off an older Lotus Exige S from back in the day. I'm not sure which Lotus Exige S. I know it wasn't Horizon, I don't think anyway. But it might have been Motorsport. I don't know which. It was definitely in a Motorsport or Horizon game. That I'm going to have to confirm, and I'll write that in the actual comments versus live chat, whatever the case may be, and we'll go from there. It's a tiny little car. It's not like a road demon, if you will. But if you really look at it and you're like, I actually thought this was in some sort of Horizon or Motorsport game, then yeah, it's not the case. That is definitely not the case. This has been in past games, but not in the current game we're playing now, whether it be Horizon 5 or the newest Motorsport that has been released not long ago and still has a lot of bugs. I see people writing like, hey, you know, this game's broken because of this, or hey, this game's broken because of that. Trust me, I see people writing so many things about this game, and I don't blame you guys. I truly don't blame you guys one bit because obvious reasons. Anyway, so for the autumn season, 20 points, we're going to get a 2019 Morgan Aero GT. Believe it or not, one of the favorite cars belonging, well, I can't say belong to, but one of the favorite cars that a certain person by the name of Richard Hammond knows about. Uh, if you want to go to a hill climb, I don't recommend it. I really don't. I really truly don't. Uh, Weird thing about this car is this puppy's made of wood. Like, I guess that's like the framework, whatever, but I don't know if that's entirely true or not. All I know is Morgan Arrow GTs are like kind of a weird setup. It's got a weird little design to it. Wood, really? That I don't know how that goes, but it is what it is. But yeah, just if you like cars made of wood, you're gonna like this car. Believe me, because wood cars, yeah, nah, not my thing. But it's cool to get. Don't get me wrong, it is. But like, don't take it to a hill climb, okay? For the winter season, 20 points, we get a brand new car coming to FH5, the 2022 Subaru BRZ. It was in the previous Motorsport game, I think the most recent game, whatever. Um, it literally took about 3 hours just to do an engine swap. The Toyota A6 from the summer update back in June actually has a wide body kit, but here's the $1,000,000 question. Will the Subaru BRZ have a wide body kit? We don't know. That we won't know for quite some time. And then finally, for the spring season, 20 points. This actually debuted in FH3, but returned in FH4. I did not see in FH3. I don't know if it did or not. But I did have it quite a bit in FH4 because I took it to a custom track that I personally built in FH4. And I used this car a lot because it had the most traction, had the most, I want to say, speed-ish kind of setup, whatever. Other than that, but it's the 2000 Lotus 340R. Basically, they consider it the ugly duckling of Lotuses. Yeah, don't know why they gave it that nickname, but that's exactly what it is. That we're going to get in the spring season, worth 20 points around that time frame. And then, next part. We're going to discuss the auto show cars that are coming to the game. These are 4 cars we can buy from the auto show. And no joke when I say this next part, these next words going to come out of my mouth. Each of these cars are worth anywhere between 2 to 3 million credits. They are high roller classic cars. From FH3, the Aston Martin DBR1, a rear-wheel drive race vehicle, classic racer vehicle that had like 400 some horsepower. From FH4, the Jaguar C-Type. Actually, no, not from FH4. The original Forza Horizon was the Jaguar C-Type. That was back ago. That was like, I don't know what made me put FH4, but I had my notes FH4. That was my fault. The Jaguar C-Type was actually from FH1, the original Forza Horizon, from way back in 2012 when that big blocky Xbox was super popular and it was selling like hotcakes. And we couldn't wait to get our first hands on the first ever Forza Horizon title back then because, yes. Just because, yes. Okay, shut up. Anyway, from FH4 also, the Ferrari 512S. I remember this guy from FH4. I use this guy quite a bit in FH4. I used it at the Princess Street Circuit or Sprint, whatever it was. And I actually had a decent, genuinely smooth S1 class tune to it. Now, because of the fact that this guy has like decent road tires, it fared out pretty well in most cases on my run with the car. I am not a super, super, super big fan of the car, but honestly, the way that this thing has a low front, like in general, the really cool thing about this car, honestly, is, it just looks really cool. If you remember from back in FH4 when we got this car, in like one of the updates, I think it's update 16 or something like that, when we had this car come out, and we couldn't wait to get hands on it. We had to get it for like 20 or 40 points, whatever. I forget the exact point system back then. I think it was like 25, whatever. But anyway, when we got this car, it was one of the most insane and most coolest track cars from back in the day. And yes, it's a classic racer, but it's also a really good track vehicle if you tuned it properly. And the way I had it personally, I don't know what you guys did, but the way I had it personally, it was beautiful. I mean, I just wish I put up video gameplay of it for when I personally had it. That was like, wow, this thing was cool. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to resurrect like the gaming spec and all, but but here's the thing: if I were to download that, it's another what, 97, 98 gigs, and despite FH4 being a pretty decent sized game, my bear bet was put everything on a 256 gigabyte USB stick and upload it to my PC that way. But I was not aware of the fact that even though the One X from Xbox had 4K capability, the unit or PC I was using wasn't like up to spec. Like it wasn't like a high end gaming PC like 95% of us have 95% of us gamers have today. Uh, you know, it was a really really good system. Came out like what 2019 2020, and it was actually pretty good. Might have been 21. I forget when exactly, but it ran well. Even with the stock components, it ran FH4 pretty good. Not gonna lie, but the only way to get true performance out of FH4 with the specific unit I had was to get some sort of like extra part. And by, most people, 90% of people actually have to get something to put into something that doesn't have anything dedicated. You ask every single gamer out there that knows what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Believe me. It was like, you didn't have to go crazy on it. Just get some decent for yourself and be like, okay, this will be like, this is like low end. You were good. You didn't need a boatload of power just to run this guy. It was beautiful the way it was. Anyway, moving on from FH4, the other car we're gonna get from the other show is the Porsche 906 Carrera 6. This was actually tuned many times by many community people out there, whatever, that literally had this thing at a high-end S2 spec with a very high amount of horsepower, and it was like supposedly aka the fastest drag car, and I don't know how, but if you tuned it to the max level, you could put this thing at over 1,300 horsepower, which was ridiculous and insane. But I just did like what, 400 or 500. So but anyway, that's it for that. The next part, FH5 Secret Santa, where actually 100% of everything is correlated to actual gifts and not dependent on time like part 2 was. This is part 3, where the actual gifting, where you do you go to bar and find, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna gift this car to a random person, and if you gifted enough for a 50% and 100%, you got specific vehicles. Now, for 50% of gifts given, provide that number of people globally that people actually played, 50% gifts given will actually net us a 2023 Gordon Murray T50, T.50. This is the man, Gordon Murray. You might have heard this guy. You might have heard this name before. Gordon Murray is the man who designed the McLaren F1 and worked with McLaren for many, many, many years. Back in 2015, he started his own company called GMA, or Gordon Murray Automotives. It has 3 seats just like the original McLaren F1. It contains a 4.0 liter Cosworth naturally aspirated V12 and puts out 700 horsepower. The best part, 6-speed manual. Massively beautiful. Now, for 100% of gifts given, when we hit the 100% mark, this is where I want to say mute your tab or whatever if you don't want to hear the all new car, all new Horizon car. But most of you kind of know what this vehicle looks like, if you want to say. But if you really want to hear it, okay. If not, I recommend you mute your tab right here. You don't have to, but if you want to listen to it, you can. Now, for 100% of the gifts given, we get the new Aston Martin Valkyrie. This is not, I repeat, this is not the AMR Pro version. This is the fresh out the box Aston Martin Valkyrie. It has a 6.5 liter naturally aspirated V12 for electric batteries and a curve system that allows you to take corners pretty good with over 1,100 horsepower. It's a race car specifically designed for the road and could very much be one of the fastest cars we ever get in FH5. 4 weeks of winter. Yeah, 4 weeks of winter. In other words, like, basically, I don't know if you want to call it 4 weeks of winter, but it's basically technically true, but only if, and I repeat, only if you go to the Horizon Stadium. Because within there, starting December 14th, which is not this Thursday, but next Thursday, inside the stadium there's trees, snow. It literally looks like, as it's called, Winter Wonderland. No joke. There's race curbs, start-finish line, barriers, brake markers, and apparently an igloo we're going to get as props when this update actually starts. Kind of cool. A new racetrack we're going to get in there is called Winter Wonderland Circuit. You can only play this in the winter season, actual winter season. So basically the third week, which would be the 21st. Between then and the 27th, we're going to be able to play the Winter Wonderland Circuit. Now, for those of you who are completely loving the Fast and Furious saga, which has been going on for many years, you are going to love this car pack. This is called the Fast X car pack. And it's actually the most expensive car pack at $9.99. No joke. There are quite a few cars I personally love. And when I looked at these, I'm like, bro. I saw a live stream. I'm like, dude, this is wicked. We have 5 vehicles we can get in this car pack. And I will not lie when I say I have like 2 favorites in here. I have 2 personal favorites. I will let you know what they are when I get done with whatever description comes up. First of all, Dominic Toretto's 1970 Dodge Charger. It has a massive V8 which literally sticks out of the hood, and it gives almost 1,000 horsepower. For those of you who love Dodge Chargers, you're going to love this guy. This, I actually got, like, out of the 5, I got top 3. This is number 3. I want to say number 2 is going to come up in a minute. But first, anyway, you know Jason Momoa, right? The guy that plays, what? Aquaman, I believe? Anyway, yeah. His character, in the movie, has a 1966 Chevrolet Impala. It has a 1,100 horsepower V8 engine. This car is known as the Ultimate Purple Villain. I don't know where that name came from, but it is what it is. Anyway, so that is one of the other cars we can get in this car pack. Now, this is possibly the most interesting car we ever get from this car pack, and that Fast and Furious ever made. The 2022 Flip car. All 6 wheels are in the FH5. You all see how this car looked when Forza did their live stream. This was beautiful. All 3 axles actually steer the front sector, the middle sector, and the rear sector, so you can take corners sharply and with ease. It has a massive V8 that carries over 700 horsepower. I don't know if this car is going to actually flip any other cars. I mean, is that even a thing or what? But whatever. Anyway, that's actually number 2 favorites. Well, the Jason Momoa kind of landed in a. Actually, you know what? This one and the next one, the Jason Momoa car and this one actually made a 2-way tie in 4th place. The 1973 Datsun 240Z, the beautiful yellow paint scheme, with the wide body, it carries over 700 horsepower. And then the number 1 spot, the 2022 Dodge Charger Hellcat Red Eye wide body kit. If you remember the original Red Eye, it had over 800 horsepower. This thing's been modified to over 1,000 horsepower. That is insane. Wow. I don't know what else to say about that. The words are already spoken right there, I'm not going to lie. So anyway, that is literally it. That's all 10 cars we can get in this newest update. Beautiful as it is. I personally love it. Now, the bug fix I want to mention, I did say in the description, so there's going to be a bug fix that's coming to the game in the next update, which actually technically launches today, but we can't play it until Thursday. You know, not long ago, and actually, matter of fact, the one we're in now, the American Automotive Update, apparently the developers did not give us what we were supposed to get for the Corvette Z06. We're going to get an actual sound. We are going to get the literal sound from the Z06. And it's going to be implemented into the car itself. So when you rev the engine, you're going to hear the true Corvette Z06 sound. Beautiful. Yeah. Wow, I was right. I totally agree. Anyway, let's see here. Then finally, we're going to jump into what's called the Community Choice Update, which actually doesn't start till January 4th, 2024. The Community Choice Update, basically back in September of this year, it's about 3 months ago, maybe a little more than 3 months ago. The developers did a survey. I'm not kidding. The developers legit did a survey, and they kind of went to players that were picked, and the developers go, what cars do you guys want to see from past Forza games be implemented into Forza Horizon 5? They literally put it as a multiple choice. So the ones that got picked for the 20-point system and the 40-point system for all 4 weeks, summer, autumn, winter, spring, were apparently put into the Community Choice Update. They, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I mean, some of them kind of, wondering if they were gonna show up. A few of these I'm actually super happy they came in, and the rest are just like, they could have done better, could have better choices, but it is what it is. Anyway, summer for 20 points. This was actually my personal favorite McLaren of all time in the FH4. The 2011 McLaren 12C Coupe. Beautiful track vehicle. And believe it or not, honestly, if you look at the cover of when you want to tune your car in the current game in FH5, believe it or not, that screenshot where it says upgrade car or whatever it is, that when you go into the outpost or your garage, or whatever the case may be, even a house, and the very first thing pops up, even when you boot the game, and it goes, "Welcome back," whatever you put your character's name as, the very first thing you see is that McLaren 12C coupe. I'm not joking. I'm like, dude, when are they gonna physically put this in the game? Because we have not yet seen this particular McLaren come up in FH5 at all. I'm not even joking. Because every time you want to go to tune your car, or whatever the case would be, it's that big graphic right in the center. And that car literally is the 2011 McLaren 12C coupe. I'm like, you had it in FH4. This is a possible Easter egg. A lot of people really thought this was an Easter egg. When they're like, wait a minute, we're going to put this car in here. We're going to throw it in the game much later. Possibly 29, 30, 31, 32 updates later. Because we have not yet seen this car released at all in the game. Last time we saw it was in FH4 in one of the updates. I forget which, but I'll get to that later. But this car was never, ever in FH5 at all. Because when we got it in FH4, it was like the most popular McLaren besides the high-end guys. This is the best mid-range car, and it cruised beautifully. I used this car. I had like over 100 custom tracks that I built in FH4, like road or dirt or cross country or this or that, and two of them specifically, I had the McLaren 12C coupe. I had it tuned to a very specific tune, and I know for a fact I think I shared it on my one of my FH4 videos. But if it's not in there, forgive me for it. I will definitely put up with the FH5 standards based off the FH4 standards, and I'm going to do my best to replicate what I did from FH4 back in FH5 if I need to. If not, then I'll just work with it and maybe give it some better tires, maybe a tad bit more horsepower, maybe like I don't know, a rear wing, maybe a front bumper. I don't know what I'm gonna do it yet, but we'll see when this car is available to us come the summer season, which kicks off again January 4th, 2024. For the summer, also for 40 points in the summer, you might recognize this from either FH3, FH4, or one of the most broken FM6, 5, 7, whatever the case would be. The 2008 Aston Martin DBS. Yeah, I recognize this car completely. It's not the world's best Aston Martin DBS, but this DBS was beautiful. I mean, this guy was either from FH2 or FH4. I honestly forget which. Or it could have been FM5, FM6, or whatever the case would be. Who knows? I'm going to have to look that up and actually write in the comments when a couple of these came out. But I will get to that once the stream actually ends, which will be in about 10 minutes. The autumn season for 20 points. This is going to be January 11th. This was actually very hard to get in general car in FH4. The 2006 Koenigsegg CCX. The only way we actually got this thing is if we either somehow ridiculously, illegally sniped it from the auction house, or better yet, Hope and Pray came up as a purchasable car in like the Forza Horizon shop or something like that. Other than that, you were out of luck getting this guy. I'm not even kidding. It was that hard to get. I had a hard time getting this guy. It took me several months to even land this thing. Somehow, some way, I got away with buying one for like what 1.1 million, and I had like what 250 million credits in the quote unquote credit bank, whatever you call it. I forget what it's called anymore. But you know, nowadays it's like you could just get that thing from the auto show in FH5. It's not even the problem anymore. But yeah, it's basically a recurring car. I'm like, okay, this guy can just simply pick up and be done with it. For whatever insane reason, I don't know why, but it is. It's in there. It's actually in there. I looked at it myself. And you can just go in there, spend the money, and done. For the autumn season, 40 points. If you remember this guy from FH4, I thought this was a rather cool car from FH4. I gave this thing like, it had like 700 horsepower or something stock, but it gave it a practical 1,200 plus horsepower with a tune inspired by a YouTuber I've followed for, 3 years? And I think, you know how people copy paste? I don't copy paste, my guy. I don't copy paste tunes off people. I don't do that because it's just stupid ridiculous. My tune was inspired by him, and I'm like, bro, I need to know how you did this. So I just took the parts, put it in there, but the tuning itself, the internal tuning, like the gearing, the alignment, all this stuff, that was all me. However he did his, fine. I did mine my way, and I just it stuck to the road no matter what I did. So, well, technically I have it stick a certain way, but you can't just go, willy-nilly throw numbers out there and just be like, oh, it's going to work. And then it slides and glides and you hit a wall, you hit a tree, you hit a blockade or whatever. No, that's not how it works. You got to tune this thing properly to where it's going to stick to the road pending the condition. So, that's what you got to do. For the winter season, 20 points. This is actually one we don't have in FH5. Surprisingly. Yeah. I don't know why. We don't. But we will. The 2012 Pagani Huayra. The 2016 Pagani Huayra BC. That's in there. But not this guy. The original Pagani Huayra. The Italian hypercar of like yesteryear, which is technically what we got in FH 2, 3, 4 up to there, whatever. But yeah, this guy was actually pretty cool. Had a really cool tune spec in FH4 that was really unique and made this car like an insane Italian hypercar, and it was brutally fast. But here's the thing. It only had a high-end spec of like 960 something. So your best bet was like 900, whatever you did for 900. That was it. But if you were like, I think the Forza it's called the Horizon edition had the X999. But I don't know if this stock 2012 Pagani whoever had the 998. I don't remember anymore because it's been a long time since I played FH4 anyway. But if you went in there and you tuned it to the proper spec of the S1 or the S2, you got away with a lot. You actually did. This was one of the most crazy cars I've ever had, and I hope you guys enjoy it in the winter season. This will be, January 18th? For 40 points in that same week, this was also a super, 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 super hard car to get in FH4. And no matter how many times you went in the auction house, any month, I don't care what month it was, from the time it came out to 6 months later, 7 months later, you were going to this car in the auction house. You had a 0.1% chance of finding one, let alone snipe one if you were quote-unquote lucky to do so, because people sniping things, don't do that ever again. I see people snipe it. If you see one or two for a much, much lower, 890,000 or 1 million, 1.1 million, and they are not the 16 or 12 or 20 million, and people actually purposefully put at 1.1 million or 2 million or 1 million or 90,000, that, and you actually use those credits and you had enough to cover, that is technically not sniping. Sniping is when you just boom, 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 bring the car up, and one spawns up and you just have the most speediest of reactions and you grab it. That's sniping. The method mentioned before, that's not sniping. I know the difference. Trust me, I know. When it comes to cars, never, ever, ever do that. That's going to get you, especially if you do online. Offline, I don't know. Online, it's a problem. I know, because I've seen people do stupid things online, and it's ridiculous. Just don't do anything stupid, okay? Anyway, that was another hard to get car in FH4 because it was one of the most iconic Mercedes-Benz to ever be released to public. It was released in 66, 4, 67, because Geneva Auto shows didn't exist back then, like they do now, or it had for last good few years. But basically, when you make a car 1 year, it's for the next year, especially between the time frame of September, December. And that's been a thing for decades. I know. Spring season. This is the 25th of January. This is a Thursday. These are all Thursdays. All these are Thursdays. If you remember from FH3, we had a 2016 Spania GTA Spano And then we had the add-on, the paint scheme, aka the Duracell edition, which apparently was not going to be a paint scheme. It was an actual car. The Duracell edition had a 150 horsepower boost and the paint scheme to go with it. So essentially it's a 2-in-1 deal. You got the car itself and you got the horsepower to boot. That was the Duracell edition. It was actually a add-on that you got free download to put into your copy of FH3, and you just dominated the roads with that. Smooth cornering, provided tuning right. Good horsepower, provided you put it right, and everything else. The internal tuning, alignment, gearing, camber, all that garbage. If you did it right, it dominated the road. It was a hypercar, but it dominated the road. You can make it a track vehicle. It's a hypercar. It dominated the road. I know. I used it a lot in FH3. And the way the graphics, especially at high speed, like, what? 950 horsepower. Or 1,000 horsepower. But this thing's stock. Had around 850 horsepower at like 930, 940 something. I put to like 1,100 some horsepower at 980. I'm like, dude, this is a beast, man. And I personally loved it for that reason alone. I'm like, beautiful. This is legit epic. And then for 40 points, the 1969 Fiat Dino 2.4 Coupe, a classic sport car that has like 200 some horsepower, and it's actually not too bad. It's got 1.8, 1.9, 2.0 liter, 2.1 liter, whatever. You know, I think it's like a 4-cylinder, and only put out like 250 horsepower stock, which is actually pretty good. But it's like a D class, C class, whatever. So in FH5, it might come as a C class. It might be still a D class. I don't know what it's going to look like. But any car we are going to get in a game, we don't know what the stock number is. We don't know what the horsepower is until we look at it. The only way you're going to know ahead of time of specific horsepower is if you do a little bit of online research on your own. Other than that, you're not going to get very far. You're not going to get anywhere very far. Trust me, I know. But I mean, I personally had it a couple times myself. I thought it was beautiful. I personally loved it. I thought it was good. You know, I'm like, this is a really cool car. I just cruised a Fiat down the road and had a couple, few custom tracks. I had specific stack of classic sport cars, and it came out pretty good. I mean, Fiat Dino 2.4 Coupe, it was a beautiful car. It cruised at what, 130, 140 miles an hour. It did good. It did good, especially in FH4. It did pretty good. This car is from FH4. It did pretty good, not gonna lie. But hey, it was really, it drove well. It didn't have problems with cornering. The way I turned specifically. I should have had a lot of these guys from FH4 coming up in like videos, or you know, besides ones I've up on my channel now. I should put some of these guys up there. You would have saw what I did then, and what I might end up doing when these guys come back again, but in FH5. So, but yeah, we're gonna see what happens. Anyway, so that's going to do it. That is all the cars we're going to get from 28 and 29. Update 20 comes out this Thursday. And Update 29, which is, again, the Community Choice Update, comes out January 24th of 2024. So I would say that's roughly about it that I can think of. So that's... I can't really think of anything else. But yeah, we had the update 20 cars, the Auto Show cars, the Secret Santa, the 4 Weeks of Winter, because of the being in the stadium and all, the Fast X car pack, the Update 29 stuff. I went over pretty much everything I can think of that you guys should be aware of come, this Thursday, and then 4 weeks later, you know, not this Thursday, but 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, practically January. So we got this Thursday, we got January, and then Update 30 is going to come in February, whatever that is. I don't know what that's going to be, but it's going to be the first Thursday in February. So that might be a spring thing. I don't know. We'll have to see. If they want to do something, they already got winter out twice, 3 times already, whatever. 21, 22, and 23. This is the technical part 3. If they already had a summer, they never did summer before. We got summer. They had other things they put in there. We had Dia de los Muertos 2 months ago, back in October, for Halloween, because it fell in around Halloween. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff that they're planning on doing for, you know, whatever time frame they want to do, because obviously, FH5, the map may not be super huge like Britain was in FH4, but the things they put in FH5, I'm not worried about the map. I love the things they put into FH5, because they got a lot more stuff they're going to put, because it may not be until 25 or 26 until they make, if they decide to make, in FH6. Wherever that's going to be, I don't know. I really don't know anything about that. I got nothing. I can't even tell you where I'm going to think it's going to be. Let alone, I don't even know what year it's going to come out. So we may have another 2 years of updates. We may end up having update 50, 60 some by the time they even throw out an FH6. Who knows? Nobody does. Nobody does. Because, you know, the time frames of when FH4 and FH5, that was like a 36, like a 38, 39 updates sector. Because they were actually building FH5 like sometime in 22 for the supposed to be in 22, but never the 20 but never happened. Because they pushed it for 21 because stuff happened and delays and this and that. So that's why FH5 came out in November 21. So, you know, it would have been the subsequent 2020 and then FH6 2022. That didn't happen. Instead, we get extra time, massively extra time with FH5. So it may not be until 24, 25, 26 by the time we get an actual FH6, if FH6 is going to be built, and if it's also going to be the last FH game we ever get. Because remember, we got the newest motorsport. We also had something similar to Forza Horizon, the Crew Motorfest, which looks very much like the world, the free roam, and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff coming to the game of FH5. So, we could get another year of this, another 2 years. I don't know. Nobody knows until the developers like, okay, this is what we're going to do. You know, whatever they decide to do is what they throw out. If they put it out there, fine. If not, we know what we're getting ourselves into. We got to then prepare ourselves for an FH6 if they do an FH6. If we get several months repeats, like series we've already dealt with, between when FH5 quote-unquote ends until the start of FH6, it is what it is. You can't do much about it. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on because I'm kind of killing a lot of guys' time anyway. I just love speculating things, but I don't want to do it too much because I don't want to spoil anything for the FH fans and the FM fans, you know, so. But I'm just going to go ahead and... So we're going to go ahead and unlock the 2009 Lotus 211 and, you know, let everything flow from there. So, you know, the Morgan Arrow, the new Subaru, FH3 cars, the cars from FH3, 4, 1 for the auto show, the Secret Santa, the Winter Wonderland circuit during the winter season, the Fast X, the Community's Choice Update for 29 coming January, all this stuff. But it has to start with this Thursday, December 7th, with the 2009 Lotus 211. So, I'm just going to randomly pop this Reese's peanut butter cup in my mouth. Oh my god, those are good. And these are the middies. I mean, we have, there's the big ones and the mini ones. I love them both. I like both. They're like, it's like the chocolate and peanut butter just melts right in your mouth. It's super delicious. Especially with a tall, cold glass of milk. Don't do eggnog with them. Just regular milk. I recommend whole milk. If you're a fan of 1% and 2% or the fat free, go for it. I'm just a whole milk person. So anyway, while I go ahead and ingest this guy, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. So if you are new to the channel, I'll go play my powered. This is actually good. This is good. Green tea pomegranate. Really, really good. One of my favorite drinks. Palm Wonderful. Pomegranate honey green tea. It says, a refreshing blend of green tea, the antioxidant goodness of pomegranate, honey, and notes of rose. Whatever that rose part means, I have no idea, but it's definitely something to wet your palate. Anyway, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and head out. I will see you guys in the next video, short, whatever I post. As I said, if you are new to the channel, you want to see more of any of those on my channel, make sure you subscribe. Excuse me, I got this chocolate peanut butter in my mouth. I'm going to have to floss my teeth, I swear. So, anyway, yeah, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click the bell. Hit the like button, which, that's that thumbs up. And write a comment in the live chat or after the thing goes live and it ends, whatever. Excuse me. What car, any of these cars, you're likely to want to see, you know, hopefully comes up sooner than normal, which you know it won't because we got to let these weeks flow as they do. but you know, just let me know what car you want to see personally. Are you a fan of the Lotus? Are you a fan of the Morgan? Are you a fan of the Subaru? Are you a fan of the Forza 5 Fast X car pack? And the guys from the Update 29. We got McLaren, we got Aston Martin, we got W Motors, we got Pagani, we got Spania, another Fiat. And you got and those guys you're fans of. Let me know in the comments below, either in the live chat or let me know in the comments after the stream ends, which will be in about 15 seconds or so, or 20 seconds, whatever. Let me know which one you guys want to see the most. I'm gonna go head out. I got things to do. If anything, I'm gonna have dinner coming up soon. So if you guys want to see more, like I said, subscribe, like the video, like the stream, comment. I'm gonna go and head out. I will see you guys later, and y'all have yourselves a super cool day. I really love the fact you guys stopped by. This was a beautiful stream, and it wasn't an hour, but it's close to it. But yeah, I mean, if you yeah, like I said, just let me know, and I'll most likely shout you out, or I'll feature a comment in the community tab I've had for a while. So if you want to, let me know. Just say, hey, I'm waiting to see this, or I'm waiting to see that. I don't care which card it is. Just let me know, and I'll throw in a little something for you. So yeah, I'll throw in the shout, like a comment, say, hey, this person said they want to see this. This person said they want to see that. I'll do it. I'll put in the community tab. Everybody can see it. You can like the post, whatever. You just and then write a little comment there saying whatever this, and then the person I shout out, you can say, hey, thanks for putting me in there, and whatever. So you just do what you want. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day, night, whatever it is whatever time zone you guys have. I'm gonna head out again. Subscribe, like,